Hi, first graders. I'm going to go over some virtual expectations. And that just means that I'm going to go over what we should and shouldn't be doing when we're on a Zoom meeting with our class and with our teacher so we can learn the most information. The better you follow these expectations, the more your brain will grow, and we say get squiggles, which means it's getting more and more information in it. So this is called virtual expectations. So when you're on Zoom, you will see at the bottom of a screen a mute button. Mute is another name for quiet or no sound. So when you first log on, you will be muted. And your icon will look like this on the screen. So it has a little red slash over what is a microphone. So that is how it should be. Now, if you touch that button, if you have a touch screen, if you touch it or if you click on it, it's going to take the red slash off, and that means unmute. And that means that we can hear you. The only time you should be using the unmute button is if a teacher calls on you. Otherwise, you need to keep your sound off with the red slash like that, because if everyone sounds on, it's going to sound very crazy, and we don't want that to happen. So we're only going to touch it if our teacher asks us to. The next thing that you'll see is this icon at the bottom, and this means that the camera is on. So you don't want any red slashes. We want to see your camera on so we can see your smiling face. All right. So here are some of our expectations. The first thing is you're going to make sure you're dressed appropriately for school, because this is school. It's just on our computers or on our iPads. So this is called dress code. So you're not going to be dressing up as something silly unless we have a theme day. But you're going to wear just your normal clothes. Our next one is that you ask for help. If you need help, even when you're doing your work when we're not on a Zoom, ask for help. Ask a grown-up for help. You also can get on Seesaw and record messages for your teachers if you need help too. Make sure the camera is turned on. Again, we want to see your smiles. If you have it turned off, we can't see you and we don't know you're there. Just like you like to see your teachers and your friends, we want to see you too. Mute on, and that just means that you're muted. So even if you're talking, if your mute's on, we can't hear. Or if you have anything in the background, like sometimes at my house, my dog barks. If I'm muted, you wouldn't be able to hear that. No eating. Now this is a good one. So first of all, we don't want food near our computers or iPads. That's just not a smart choice because they could get sticky or even broken. The other thing is when you're learning in the classroom, you usually aren't sitting there eating. So it helps us focus more if we save our eating for a different time. No toys. I love some toys, but I have to make sure that I only use my toys when it's time to play with my toys. So if you're playing with your toys, you can't look at your teacher and your friends, and that's what's important. TV off. I don't know about you, but I can get distracted by a TV. So I have to turn it off, because even if the sound's not on, I might look and say, oh, that looks like something I know. So it's really best to have your TV off while you're a Zoom meeting. Quiet space. This sometimes is hard, but when you're doing your Zoom meetings and your Zoom learnings, try to find a spot in your house that is pretty quiet, because if you're outside where everyone's playing, that's not a quiet zone. And I know sometimes it's hard, so just try your best. Be on time. Now, I have a feeling that adults are going to help you remember this. But if your adult is saying it's time for your Zoom, don't give them a hard time. Get on right away so we can see you. Be kind. So just like in school, we always use our kind words to our teacher and our friends in class. So we're never going to be rude or unkind, which I have a feeling we don't have to worry about it. Sometimes you can be kind by showing your smile or giving a thumbs up if your friends are talking. raise your hand. So if you want to talk and you're on a Zoom call and you really need to share something with your teacher and your friends, just raise your hand. When you look, you might be able to see a little picture of you in the corner, and just make sure your hand's in the picture, because if it's up like this, you can't see Miss Lodato's hand. It happens sometimes, but it's okay. We're all learning. Oh, I already did that one. All right, are you ready for me? So I am going to give you some scenarios, which just means things that could happen. I want to know if it's a good choice. Show me thumbs up for good choice. Good job. Or if it's a not so good choice. Show me thumbs down for not so good choice. Great. So when I show you the picture and tell you it, you're going to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and I'm going to see if you get them right. Are you ready, my first graders? You got this. All right. Toys. Should you play with your toys while on a Zoom meeting or doing schoolwork? Show me. Yes, you need to save those toys for later. Thumbs down. No toys while we're learning. Can you show your work? Do you think you can hold it up to the camera and show your teacher? That one might be tricky. Most of the time, yes. If you did your work and a teacher is asking you, say, hold up your work, you can hold it up. Sometimes you might have a one-on-one Zoom meeting. That means that it's just you and the teacher, or a small group, or it's only a couple of friends. A lot of times the teacher is going to ask to see your work, and we love to see if you can hold it up to the camera. Ooh, should you listen to your friends when they're talking? Yes, you need to listen to your friends. We learn a lot from our friends. I learn, and other teachers learn from first graders, even though we're the teachers. You guys can help us learn too. Should you make silly faces in the camera? No making silly faces. I know it's cool to see you. When you're on Zoom, you can see yourself. And you're like, Miss Lodato sometimes tries to fix her hair, but I need to stop. No silly faces or fixing your hair during Zoom meetings. Should you have your camera off? We don't want you to have your camera off because, again, your smiles make our day. And guess what? They make your friends' days too, because I love seeing my friends, even if it's just on Zoom. When you're logging on and your friends are slowly popping up, can you wave a quiet wave? Absolutely. Sometimes that's the best part of a Zoom. When your friend's face pops up and you see them, you can just wave really quickly. They would love to see that. I know I would. Ooh, can you eat while it's a Zoom meeting or in your learning? Show me. No, it will get our screen sticky. We don't want that. Or if it spills, oh my goodness. And we just need to save that food for snack or lunchtime so we can focus on our learning. Should you have the mute button on, which means the quiet? Should you have that on? Yes, you should. You should have it on, unless your teacher asks you to take it off. That's a good thing to do. It just helps because when everyone's mute button is off, oh my goodness, it gets crazy. All right. Can you do some exercises while you're on a Zoom call? And flips? Even if you're really good at gymnastics, can you do that? No. Save that for another time. No doing gymnastics or flips when you're on the Zoom call. I find it best to be seated. Sometimes you might want to be crisscross applesauce with your device in front of you. Sometimes you might want to sit at a chair. Sometimes you might want to sit on your knees, and that's okay. But I think it's best when we're in one place, not walking around. All right, should you take notes or write? That one's tricky. I'm going to say yes. If your teacher says write this down or work on this problem, you can go ahead and do that. Now, if the teacher's reading you a book, I wouldn't start writing whatever you want because you need to focus on that book. But use your brain, and you're first graders now, so you know good times to write and not so good times to write. Ooh, can I turn around in my chair like this? no, my eyes need to be on the screen. I can't see my friends or my teacher or any of the learning if my eyes aren't even on my screen, right? So we can't do that. All right, my friends, you are ready. We're going to use these same expectations during every Zoom. So make sure to show your teachers that you are ready to learn.